And a very happy Thursday to you at 12:06 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
Well, it's time once again to check in who's going to be on Gavin Newsom's podcast. This is Gavin Newsom. And look at this. It's a former colleague of ours.
This is Gavin Newsom.
And this is Ben Shapiro.
Do not listen to that podcast at 1.5 speed.
When you said it was a former colleague of ours, I thought Judge Christina was on.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing.
So how did that go with him and Ben Shapiro?
It airs at 4 o'clock today. So I'm going to have to listen to that on the way home.
All right. Well, you have something to look forward to. 800-222-5222 is a telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Well, we know that drugs are a big problem, not just in San Francisco and Los Angeles, but all over the country. If there's one neighborhood, though, that is commonly associated with drug use, it's the Mission in San Francisco. And the new mayor of San Francisco, Mayor Lurie, understands this. When national reporters come with cameras and they're trying to explain to the rest of the nation the condition of San Francisco, that's right where they go, and the scene is not pretty. And finally, the city is trying to do something about that.
Well, it's more like the city is getting a solution forced upon them because a nonprofit is donating to the city $500,000 to spend on this guy from New York at John Jay College of Criminal Justice who specializes in getting rid of open-air drug markets like the one that's been plaguing the Tenderloin for years and years and years.
That's quite a job.
For more, here is ABC7 in the Bay and Lyanne Melendez.
San Francisco has tried just about everything to put an end to the drug markets with really little or no success. But now
they've even tried arresting the drug dealers and they get right out or they don't get convicted. It's a mess.
Well, when you look at the judges and the juries and in the past, the DA, there's your problem.
Well, you also have a situation where San Francisco is a sanctuary city. So when they arrest a Honduran illegal immigrant drug dealer, they can't turn them over to ICE.
Great.
And then they say they're a victim of human trafficking, and the jury lets them off.
Really little or no success. But now some city officials say they have one more plan that has not been tried here yet, but has been successful in some other cities.
Well, ABC 7 News Building a Better Bay Area reporter Lyanne Melendez is here with these details.
Yeah, well, you know, many have wanted to go after the drug dealers, but there wasn't that coordination within the city. And the city didn't want to pay for this so-called intervention strategy plan. But guess what? The city still doesn't want to pay for it, and it appears it is getting it anyway because a nonprofit has stepped in to cover the cost of bringing in an expert over 2 years to tell people here how to put an end to the drug markets.
This guy's getting paid $500,000 to stay in the Tenderloin for 2 years and figure out how to get rid of the drug dealers. That's a job.
When the city fails, I guess you need a fixer.
It's not a mistake to refer to the proliferation of fentanyl in some San Francisco neighborhoods as an epidemic. It's a noun, meaning an outbreak of disease that spreads quickly and affects many individuals at the same time.
Yeah, but unlike a epidemic like COVID, you can't catch fentanyl.
No, you can't.
You have to inject it into your veins. You have to smoke it. There has to be some buy-in from you. Fentanyl is not thrust upon you, except in some very, very, very rare situations.
As an epidemic, it's a noun, meaning an outbreak of disease that spreads quickly and affects many individuals at the same time.
It's not good. You know what I mean? I see it every day. You know, people, be looking like zombies and, doing all that.
What kind of drugs do you use?
Well, I mean, it's not, I use meth.
Whoa.
At first, I thought this was a concerned citizen, but he wasn't just nervous on camera. She was talking to a drug addict who doesn't understand why people do fentanyl when you could be doing meth.
And he was so casual about it, too. That's like telling the waitress that you use Splenda and not Sweet and Low.
It's not good. You know what I mean? I see it every day. people, be looking like zombies and, doing all that.
What kind of drugs do you use?
She just casually throws that in.
Well, I mean, come on. She could connect the dots.
Well, I mean, it's not, I use methamphetamine, alcohol and cigarettes, but I mean, it's not.
And cigarettes. So stimulant, depressant, stimulant.
That is quite a trifecta.
I mean, it's not, I'm not addicted to it.
Just casually uses meth.
Can you casually use meth?
No.
Sure, they seize kilos and arrest drug dealers and the occasional user, and yet the Tenderloin remains San Francisco's public drug market.
This is true.
And you don't have to look very hard to see it. It is everywhere you go in that neighborhood.
Doesn't help that most of the Hilton properties in San Francisco are right near there, does it, Johnny?
Yep. Got to get those honors points.
Why is that? Would it surprise you to know that many have told us that San Francisco has never had a drug market intervention strategy?
No, that would not surprise me.
Yeah, because you've had a problem that's persisted for decades.
What do they mean by that?
You have to first focus on the sellers. You have to close down the drug market. How do you close a market? You stop people who's selling. If there's no sellers, there can't be buyers.
I can't believe how simple this is, but apparently we need someone to explain that to San Francisco.
It took this long for them to figure that out?
And among the consequences of not having an intervention strategy are the unintentional drug overdose deaths. Despite Mayor Daniel Lurie's efforts to combat the drug use here, it appears the number of overdose deaths in 2025 will be about the same as the ones in 2024.
Look at that, London Breed. You did about as well as Daniel Lurie on this. What do you think? What do you think she does every day?
Not a lot.
Keep in mind that we are still waiting for the December 2025 number to be released. What was different in 2025 was the increase of synthetic drugs on the streets.
They're cutting the fentanyl with benzodiazepines, which are very cheap to get. And
synthetic.
I thought the whole point was they were cutting other drugs with fentanyl because fentanyl was so cheap. Now they're cutting fentanyl? How cheap are these drug dealers?
Well, and think about these stats here for a second, because the problem is clearly getting worse. Because if that many people died last year, then your most likely candidates to die of a drug overdose are already dead, which means you're producing new ones.
Well, people do move to San Francisco every single day. They hear about that open-air drug market, and there's always going to be new customers, Johnny.
Seems that way.
They're cutting the fentanyl with benzodiazepines, which are very cheap to get. And synthetic, and they're very strong, they're highly effective, right? It gives.
So wait, they're cutting the fentanyl with Xanax?
Well, wasn't that how Tyler Skaggs died? The Angel pitcher.
Yes.
Where he thought he was taking some other drug. I think he was taking a painkiller or something, and there ended up being fentanyl in it.
Well, and this is something that our colleague Dr. Drew has talked about for years and years and years. You want to know what kills you instantly? It's not the opioid. It's the opioid mixed with the benzo. That will kill you 100 out of 100 times.
Stay away from that.
Right? It gives the appearance of enhancement of the actual drug itself while using less fentanyl, and thereby saving the dealer or the distributor more fentanyl so that they can sell more and actually make more money that way by cutting it with the benzodiazepine.
When you hear about the tactics of these drug dealers, it really is a head scratcher as to why so many people in California don't want to put these people in prison indefinitely.
Well, they say it's a victimless crime, that they themselves are addicts, so we should give them help and not put them in prison. But when you look at what they're doing and what they're doing on purpose, what they are serial killers.
And here is the addendum to that.
Narcan does not work to reduce an overdose from benzodiazepines.
And this is true not just with mixing fentanyl with benzos. This is also true when people are mixing fentanyl with Tranq, which is the horse tranquilizer drug. There's all these new forms of fentanyl out there that Narcan is not effective. So even though the state went through this, we're going to start manufacturing our own Narcan. We're going to force bartenders to carry Narcan. Every police officer and firefighter has Narcan. They want you to carry around Narcan. Narcan doesn't work anymore.
Well, the fake doctor's not going to like that.
Babs.
Addiction to benzodiazepines are very, very real, and the withdrawals from them are far worse and far more dangerous than they are from opioids.
On a recent rainy day, we spoke to Bilal Mahmoud, the San Francisco supervisor representing the Tenderloin, who made finding an intervention strategy part of his campaign.
The research has shown that a drug market...
Because he was running against Dean Preston, who was the biggest proponent of keeping the open-air drug market.
I don't know how you get there intellectually, but for whatever reason, there are a lot of people in the state who believe that allowing them to do drugs in public and die of drug overdoses is the humane way to handle the problem.
The research has shown that a drug market intervention strategy is the only solution from a prevention-based approach that has shut down open-air drug markets in the United States.
Now, I bet you, if we look deeply, how these organizations disrupted all these open-air drug markets in other states, they probably told them all to go to San Francisco.
You may have a point there.
Well, San Francisco, tell them all to go to MacArthur Park in Los Angeles.
No, don't tell them that.
It's okay. We'll move by then.
There is one name circulating at City Hall as the utmost authority in closing down drug markets across the country. David Kennedy of the Center for Crime Prevention and Control at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York. Kennedy decided to hold off on talking to us, but the nonprofit funding his efforts, the Crank Start Foundation, did.
Wait. The foundation that is paying $500,000 for this guy to come to the Tenderloin is called Crank Start?
It is kind of a catchy name.
But isn't crank a term for meth?
I think.
I'm sure someone's going to email us confirming that. The Crank Start Foundation did. Quote, Crank Start granted $500,000 to the Breaking the Cycle Fund at the San Francisco Foundation with the purpose of supporting research by John Jay College into interventions that will enhance public safety and health in San Francisco.
I would say that $500,000 for a 2-year engagement from somebody like David Kennedy is worth every penny.
It's a brilliant idea.
Now, does he walk up and down the Tenderloin with a baseball bat? How does this work? I want to know what this guy does, because that's a good payday.
Yeah, no kidding.
And apparently he's had success in other states.
It's a brilliant idea. They say to people, look, we have all the evidence. We can put you to jail for a number of years, or you can leave the city. Which do you prefer?
Well, first off, we don't put people in jail for a number of years.
Not in this state.
But if you have a real threat of that and you say, get the hell out of Dodge, where are they going to go?
By the way, we got an email from someone who said that you can casually do meth, that they had a realtor who was apparently on meth and split town and went to rehab in Mexico, which seems odd to me. Why would you go to drug rehab in Mexico? Isn't that like going to Fat Camp in Hershey, Pennsylvania?
Guess what they usually choose? Leave the city. And that's been successful everywhere. But we haven't done that here.
So this would be calling upon the premier expert on shutting down open-air drug markets.
I'm telling you, this is going to end up with one-way bus tickets to Los Angeles.
Oh, of course.
To figure out a strategy on how to shut down a fentanyl market for the first time in the U.S. history.
In a city that has long been divided on the issue of how to come up with an intervention strategy, it appears that for the first time, there is consensus among city leaders.
Nothing that we are doing as a city to enable or tolerate public drug use in San Francisco is helping anybody. Not our neighborhoods, not our business, not our economy, but least of all, not anybody on the street at the end of the rope addicted to a drug like fentanyl.
I mean, what San Francisco has done, they'll never admit it, but what they have done is made sure that they push the problem into just 3 neighborhoods. So you're really only seeing it in the Tenderloin, in Soma, and the Mission. The rest of San Francisco looks pretty damn nice right now. But if you live in those neighborhoods, it's got to be a living nightmare.
Oh, it's like a zombie apocalypse film that never ends.
And so far, we haven't found anyone who seems opposed to this intervention strategy. Now, because this is a gift from the nonprofit Crank Start, it has to be reported to the control.
When's the last time you heard of a nonprofit giving money to a city?
You never hear that.
From the nonprofit Crank Start, it has to be reported to the Controller's Office and Ethics Commission. Any gift or donation valued at more than $10,000 has to be approved by the Board of Supervisors. And it seems like there is consensus. And you know who else is on board, apparently? The mayor of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with this as a nonprofit is spending $500,000 to get the city to hire this expert out of New York who specializes in clearing out open-air drug markets.
Well, good for them. I hope they're successful. However, I will say this. If they are successful, my guess is they're going to have to break the rules.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can actually clean that up legally. But time will tell. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And tomorrow, Randy, you and I are going to be in the San Fernando Valley.
It's less than 24 hours away, everyone. We're going to be broadcasting live tomorrow from noon to 3 at the Pineapple Hill Saloon in Sherman Oaks, right off of Van Nuys Boulevard in Moore Park. It's a live broadcast of the John Phillips Show. There's great food and great drinks at the Pineapple Hill, that beautiful back patio that we have broadcast from multiple times. Angela's going to take great care of you. We're going to have special guests, including Susan Shelley from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association. Listen, the courts have made it easier to raise your taxes. We need you to come by and sign the petition to save Prop 13. Susan needs those signatures by February 17th. So we'll tell you more about your taxpayer rights protecting Prop 13, but you can help out right now. Even if you can't make it to the event, you can sign that petition by going to saveprop13.com. That's saveprop13.com. Get your friends, get your family to fill them out as well. If you're coming to the event, bring them from your whole neighborhood. Get as many petitions as you can, because otherwise we're all going to have to move. Saveprop13.com. We'll see you tomorrow at the Pineapple Hill in Sherman Oaks.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Billy Gibbons and the BFG Band at the City National Grove of Anaheim, January 25th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, call in number 9 at 1-888-790-5222. Gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Nederlander Concerts. Good luck dialing.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
So this audience always delivers. When we have a question, when we need something clarified, we know this audience knows what they're talking about. Rick writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Crank is meth. Meth is crank. John writes in from Oakland. Great show as always, guys. Yes, crank is slang for meth. I refer to the roaming meth head thieves that scour our communities on bicycles in search of targets of opportunity as the cranker cavalry.
All right, it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
I see. Time for the California Crime Blotter.
And this story is one of those stories where, I don't know, a dozen people emailed it to us and said, you have to put this in the blotter.
And I kept replying, KTVU hasn't posted it on YouTube yet. But KTVU finally posted it on YouTube. So I bring you now what may be the most Oakland story of all time.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
A kind-hearted soul who literally volunteers his time to go into neighborhoods in Oakland and pick up trash was robbed.
That's not very nice.
He no longer feels safe doing what he did and is going to take a break from picking up trash in Oakland.
It's wild, wild west out here.
Can't blame the guy.
For more, we go to KTVU, Fox 2 in the Bay.
Andy Wong has gained...
No relation.
Not a distant relative?
No. Although he does have my actual last name.
Andy Wong has gained fame online for picking up trash on his own time.
You know, it's the most common last name in the world.
It is?
Yes.
It must be the Smith of China.
It is. And you think about how many people live in China, it is the most common last name.
Andy Wong has gained fame online for picking up trash on his own time. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Meebeck. This is the first time he's actually been confronted, and now he says he may lay low and play it safe. New at 6, KTVU crime reporter Henry Lee, live tonight in Oakland with the story. Henry.
Well, Mike, I first met Andy Wong a couple of years ago, and I'm telling you, people were just floored by his dedication. But now he is shaken after being robbed, after clearing a whole intersection and filling up 80 bags of trash.
Thanks, Oakland.
You took a guy who was civic-minded, who wanted to make his community look better, who wanted to do something for his neighbors, and now he's jaded.
It's been a bit rough the past 2 days. I've just been contemplating, kind of going over what happened.
And I got to imagine he's reevaluating his life decisions.
Wouldn't you?
Yes. It's a nice thing that he did, but is the city any cleaner? In certain neighborhoods, he cleans it up, it gets dirty immediately again because the city does not work.
Kind of been contemplating, kind of going over what happened.
Andy Wong is known for picking up trash, lots of it in Oakland. But over the weekend, he was robbed for the first time while doing one of his volunteer cleanups.
It really caught me off guard, and it did kind of damage how I view Oakland in a way.
I wonder what his view of Oakland was.
This guy is walking around town picking up trash. What could he possibly have on him that's valuable?
Well, he was filming himself doing it, so he had a camera.
Okay, so you take the camera and you leave him with the old tire?
Kind of been contemplating, kind of going over what happened.
Andy Wong is known for picking up trash, lots of it in Oakland. But over the weekend, he was robbed for the first time while doing one of his volunteer cleanups.
It really caught me off guard, and it did kind of damage how I view Oakland in a way.
Wong says a man on a BMX bike grabbed a camera and tripod he uses to document his work.
Immediately grabbed.
He was doing one of those videos where it just shows in like super fast speed him spending 8 hours cleaning up this intersection, and that footage is gone now.
You know, I heard that at one point in time he was considering going over to the dark side and fighting fire with fire and bending and breaking the rules himself because of what they did to him. But you know why he didn't?
Why's that?
2 Wongs don't make a right.
He'll be here all night, folks.
Immediately grabbed my GoPro, and I think he was trying to head towards me, but I had my phone held tightly in my hands. I think he was like, yeah, it's not worth trying to get my phone.
It happened at about 5:30 Sunday afternoon at 16th Street and Mandela Parkway in West Oakland.
It's amazing how much crime happens in broad daylight in places like Oakland or Los Angeles.
Well, if there's no fear of going to jail, why not?
It happened at about 5:30 Sunday afternoon at 16th Street and Mandela Parkway in West Oakland.
Clean up the trash that covered this entire street corner.
Wong used his GoPro to put together a time-lapse video showing him cleaning up the area on Saturday. He has other reasons for bringing a camera.
One, it's to protect myself, which is kind of ironic. And what I mean by that is in case I get accused of illegal dumping.
Wong removed.
He needs to have video evidence that he's picking up the trash because, of course, the city of Oakland that cannot go after illegal dumpers will find some way to go after him for making them look bad.
But it's the camera that makes him a target for the criminals.
I get accused of illegal dumping.
Wong removed piles and piles of trash, including dirty syringes and rubbish mixed with green waste.
So I separated everything into proper piles to make it easier for Public Works to pick up.
So you've got your pile of organic waste, you've got your pile of recycling, and you have your pile of needles.
If I'm him, I'm definitely looking for a different hobby.
This is what it looked like when he started. And this is what it looked like afterward, just before he was robbed.
And there's a lot of people like this. There's a guy in Los Angeles doing it too, and they constantly feel like Sisyphus, keep rolling that ball up the hill and realizing that the city does not care and they're not going to change their behavior of neglecting the city.
Okay, I don't want to blame the victim here. However, it doesn't take a Mensa patient or a Mensa student to figure out how this movie is going to end. You know, at some point, this movie is going to end with something really bad happening to you.
I profiled Wong back in 2023. The electrical engineer has gained respect for driving from Livermore to Oakland and elsewhere to pick up trash on his days off.
Wait, so he doesn't even live there?
He does not.
He's coming in from a cleaner community to pick up the trash in Oakland so it doesn't look like the dump that it is.
Probably has to drive through Oakland, sees what it looks like, realizes that nobody's doing anything about it, and so he wanted to do something about it. That's a hero right there. And how do we treat our heroes? We rob them.
Trash on his days off, after work, and even on weekends.
Putting in his own time, his own money, his own effort to clean up trash, and that's the reward he gets. Yeah, it's terrible.
Those who live or work in West Oakland say they're shocked.
It's really cool somebody was trying to do something about that, and then really sad that they got victimized as part of that.
Wong blames himself for what happened.
But I feel very bad because...
Not your fault, dude.
Wait, he's blaming himself for this too?
Yes.
Wong blames himself for what happened.
But I feel very bad because, to me, I felt like this was entirely my fault. I should have known better.
And for now...
Okay, this is an issue. This guy has got Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, you think?
This is not your fault. You were doing something legitimately good, volunteering to pick up the garbage that Barbara Lee refuses to, and you got robbed for it. None of this is your fault, dude.
How abusive do you think his wife is?
And for
He's
now...
got to be dating Katie Porter or something.
Poor Katie. She only gets brought up in the worst ways on this show.
Paul! And for now...
Come on, though. You can't picture this guy with a wife who gives him any respect.
And for now, he's taking a step back.
So I think I need to take care of myself first.
And he tells me he's reluctant to accept donations or new cameras, saying that he'd feel obligated to picking up trash now. Don't get him wrong. He wants to do that again sometime in the...
He's got to take care of himself first.
He needs some me time.
In the future, but most likely as part of a group. Live in Oakland.
Yeah, no longer will he be doing this by himself. He's going to need security.
Live in Oakland, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
All right, Henry, thank you for that. Closing our...
So there you go. The kind-hearted soul that on his own time and his own dime was picking up trash in Oakland. What is his reward? He gets robbed of his camera.
What's wrong with society?
You got it all out of your system now?
I think so. All right, it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy...
We couldn't make this stuff up if we tried.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
It's the California Crime Blotter.
And Randy, this one takes us back to the state capitol.
Once again, we've got another case of copper wire theft on the SAC RT, although this time they made a bust, and it was a big one. Let's go to ABC 10 in Sacramento.
New tonight, deputies say a serial copper theft suspect has been arrested near light rail tracks. This comes just as Sacramento Regional Transit is finally getting the Gold Line back up and running after service disruptions lasted hours.
Yeah, test trains are now running as they check the tracks and power systems before full service resumes. ABC 10's Nazi Javid has the very latest update.
SAC-RT says a copper wire theft forced service changes on the Gold Line Wednesday. And earlier in the week, an incident interrupted service between 13th Street and Power Inn.
This is happening every week now.
What is your defense if you're stealing copper wire from public transit and public transit is down because there's no copper wire and you have a car full of it?
We have to turn trains around and people have to connect a bus that connects where the trains stop running to the other section where they stop running. And it's really our passengers that are disrupted.
Seriously, why are we wasting billions and billions of dollars on building all of these trains and train routes and extending train lines when we cannot operate the trains because we cannot do anything about the criminals stealing the copper?
No, and then when you catch them, you go, oh, they have a mental illness. Oh, they're addicted to drugs. You can't put them in prison for a long time. Okay, fine. Then no choo-choo for you.
SAC-RT says these thefts often damage the overhead power system, requiring rail service to be temporarily suspended, forcing riders to take the bus to bridge the gap.
People have to get off the train, get on a bus, wait for it, instead of riding the train inbound. And then they have to go to 29th Street and catch another train to go inbound from there.
It's a nightmare.
Who can rely on this to get to work on time?
In the most recent arrest, they say the suspect, 51-year-old Jesse...
51?
Okay, that's a little long in the tooth for these kinds of crimes.
This is a career criminal.
In the most recent arrest, they say the suspect, 51-year-old Jesse Jeremiah, had a wagon, and in it...
A wagon?
Because, of course, why not?
Guess we're going back to the Old West. He's a prospector.
Jeremiah had a wagon, and in it...
He's on the Oregon Trail.
Deputies say they found 18 large strands of copper wire belonging to Regional Transit and multiple burglary tools. Last year
So
alone,
what are you doing with all that copper there, sir? Well, I collect pennies.
Last year alone, SAC-RT recorded 49 incidents involving copper wire theft or related vandalism. The agency...
Again, we're almost at one per week.
And by the way, if you found a bunch of stolen copper wire on this guy, keep looking because I can almost guarantee you there's some meth in there too.
They actually found a shed where he was keeping thousands of dollars of this stuff.
The agency says each incident cost $10,000 to $20,000 on average, with more severe cases exceeding $50,000.
Now, if you're a public transit agency, whether you're BART or SAC-RT or LA Metro, do you just automatically now budget that in, knowing that throughout the year you're going to have to constantly spend $10,000 a week to fix copper wire because it keeps getting stolen?
Well, and if you're an employer up there, do you just know that a certain percentage of your workforce is going to be late all the time because you can't rely on the train service because the copper wire theft makes it go down?
I think it's really very inconsiderate to steal the copper wire that is being used for the train for light rail station. So that's
but Jesse Jeremiah didn't care.
No, and just wait until he finds out that there's copper wire in the wires in your neighborhood too, and your internet goes down.
So that's not nice at all. It's really impacting us a lot.
Okay, ABC 10 really likes to use that sound effect.
Oh, yeah.
SAC-RT is responding by increasing patrols, adding cameras, and launching AI-powered drone monitoring this year, while also replacing copper wire with stainless steel that has little to no resale value. Transit officials say another copper wire theft investigation led to an arrest late last month, landing 32-year-old Addison Jones in jail after being found cutting copper wire near the Sunrise Station area.
I think that's ridiculous. I think people should just get, real jobs and be more legit and stuff.
Be more legit.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that.
I think that's ridiculous. I think people should just get, real jobs and be more legit and stop doing stupid stuff, make our community better.
Well,
if you're 51 years old and you haven't gotten with the program yet, you're never going to get it.
99% of the population is legit and wants to make the community better, wants to be productive. It's that tiny percent of people that don't want to do that if we don't appropriately punish and keep them away from society, will ruin everything else for the rest of us.
Wait, you think 99% of society is good? Have you never been to a Raider game?
I think that's ridiculous. I think people should just get, real jobs and be more legit and stop doing stupid stuff, make our community better.
We should start a PSA campaign. Be more legit.
I think they had one of those in Anaheim, didn't they?
Investigators say they're still looking in other incidents.
Stealing is low already, but when you're stealing things like copper wiring and stuff like that, those things are meant to for infrastructure, and they're stealing it to make money, and that's just low.
How do you think Wyatt Earp would have handled this?
I had to get one more in there.
So what's your message to this theft suspect or suspect?
Earn money the honest way, like the rest of us.
And like the viewer said, stop doing stupid stuff.
Well, throw a copper penny into a fountain, pal.
And like the viewer said, stop doing stupid stuff. That was ABC 10's Nazi Javid reporting. A records check shows Jeremiah had an active felony warrant as well, and that he was on probation for attempted grand theft, vandalism, burglary, and resisting arrest. That's all according to police.
And why was he out?
He sounds like a fine, upstanding citizen.
This is what happens when you destroy 3 strikes. This guy already has proven over and over again he cannot belong in society, and we let him out there to constantly be destroying the trains.
But how much do you want to bet if we threw the book at this guy, he would have his defenders out there saying, oh my God, you're putting a poor man who has a drug problem in prison all for stealing copper wire? What he stole is essentially worthless.
Well, that's the problem. It's not worthless.
Well, it's worthless in general. I mean, compared to things that are actually expensive. But it is worth something if you're a commuter on the train and you need that copper wire for the train to be operational. Then it's worth a lot.